Yes, which was pretty awesome. Some of them were
off the top of my head. Compared.
You are now listening to the Voices of Dubai.
You're listening
Watching the Voices of Dubai with Joe Hage.
This is the Voices of Dubai.
Ashraf, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you, Joe. It's a pleasure always to see you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. Last time we saw each other was in 2021 at JBM.
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you remember the project we were working on?
Unfortunately, no. No, it was a very long time, so it's very difficult. And if I take some time, I can remember.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
I think it might have been for GMC on Star, if my memory serves me right.
Not sure,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah.
I mean, that's what
Sorry about
happens when
that.
we do so many sessions together, right?
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
forget
yeah.
who was the client, where was the session. And I
True.
remember the first time we met, actually, was in 2015. So I came fresh from Canada, graduated from Canada in Montreal, to work as a sound engineer at Montage TV Productions.
Yes.
And I remember you were one of the regular voiceovers that came to the studio to record,
True.
almost on a daily basis.
True, maybe 2 or 3 times a day even.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember, yeah.
And if my memory serves me right, one of the projects that we did together was for Nivea, and the other one was for Volkswagen.
Volkswagen.
Yeah, a radio spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since then, we've really had the pleasure of working together for so many years, and I'm really grateful for that.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Do you remember your first voiceover session ever?
Yes, I do. You know, there are certain things that always leaves a mark on you, especially when you were, like, you had this as a dream. I'll tell you one story before we go into this, because it actually made me more eager to go through. During the college times, all my colleagues were always telling me, you have such a great voice, why don't you go and do voiceovers? They were not even saying voiceovers. I don't think anybody at our age knew or understood what is a voiceover talent. But they were like, you have to do like the news, you have to do a radio program, something like that. Then one day I was watching TV, and there was this talent. He was definitely like a guru at that time. His voice was very close to mine. So I used to go and make jokes in the college. I told them, did you listen to my ad that I did yesterday? It's on TV. And I even remember the brand. It was one of the yogurt brands. It was called Sabah.
Okay.
So everyone, the news spread in the college, and everyone was like, wow, what a great opportunity. And then I said, what did I put myself into? I had to tell them eventually that, no, it was not me. It was just someone who have a similar voice. So when I first worked back in 1995, I joined an advertising agency in Egypt. It was the biggest at the time. It was Tarek Nour advertising. Definitely Tarek Nour was the advertising man, the ad man in Egypt. He was the first one to introduce models, jingles, and all people from different ages were like sitting in front of the TV waiting to watch the ads for Tarek Nour.
Wow.
So when I joined, I was looking up to the guy, very proud that I'm working here with the famous man. So one day, I found my manager coming in and telling me, Tarek wants you to try your voice on one of the ads.
Okay.
I was like, when did he even hear my voice? I don't know. So I went there, and it was for a Russian ballet band, or I don't know, dancers. It was for the Bolshoi.
Okay.
So that was the first ever voiceover I've done.
Wow.
Introducing or announcing the party. So yeah, that's the first ever.
So was it an award ceremony that you were presenting? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show today, something like that?
No. It was like a TV spot.
Okay.
Announcing that on that day, the band is going to perform at this place, and that's it. Tickets are available now at wherever. So it was only an announcement.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I'm curious, after that experience, how did you feel in terms of being behind the microphone, being in a booth, and having that advertising guru, you know, pushing your voice?
Yeah, I was very nervous, definitely. especially that he was attending the recording because it was my first, and he wanted to make sure that things are going on the right track. He was there. I was new, so there was like 2 sound engineers. Production manager was there, whom I only saw once. Plus the client came in. So I was like, my God, all these people. And then I think I started sweating. It was so hard. It even took me maybe like 5 takes to do it right. But I was really happy that I've done it eventually. At a certain point of time, I thought that they're going to tell me, okay, get this guy out, he's not getting it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always hard the first time. But then slowly but surely you get there.
Speaking of slowly but surely building your confidence, what happened after that first recording session? How did your voiceover career evolve after that point?
Okay, after this ad, I became the main voiceover talent within the agency.
Wow.
So any client who had a radio spot or a TV spot, if not done by Tarek Nour himself, it was me.
Nice.
Even to the extent that some scripts, when they were showing it to Tarek, he was telling them, okay, this is not for me, let Ashraf do it.
Nice.
His voice is more suitable for that kind of ads. So, and then it started building up. And then I started getting calls from outside studios.
Wow.
Whom they've heard. I think it just happened like that. Some clients listened to the voice and then they told them, we need this guy to come and do our ad. And there it became.
Wow.
It happened.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And what are some of, apart from, of course, being nervous behind the mic the first time, what are some of the other challenges that you faced during the first couple of recordings?
Well, honestly, Joe, I see that every recording is a challenge. You never have to be very confident about what you're going to do, although by experience, definitely you get the confidence. But like nowadays, you do not expect what are you going to be asked. Let's say, for example, I went for a recording session and then I can hear the client on the other side saying, wow, his voice is so deep. Can you please make it a little bit thinner? We need it to resemble a voice of an 18-year-old guy. And I was like, even if I try, I would never get the tone of an of a teenager. So there are always challenges. Having a script like that, it should be done in 45 seconds and you have to do it in 30. Or even in 30, and you have to do it in 15. So these are all challenges.
Yeah, and we both saw a lot of these, right? Like where you get a script and you take a look at it, it looks like a 1-minute script, and they tell you, oh, that's our 30-second script.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
yeah.
And we'd have to do some copywriting on the spot sometimes,
spot,
you know?
yeah.
Because even if you go super fast, and the engineer can also do something called time compression, you know, to compress
True.
the audio, cut the breaths in between each sentence and put the audio together.
Yeah.
Even with that, it would never reach the desired duration that the client has in mind.
Never. And I remember some sessions took a very long time because the copywriter has to rework on the script to try to make it fit. And then, okay, you can just read as fast as you can. And then if you do that for so many takes, you're out of breath. And sometimes you feel that your voice, it's not coming out.
Yeah.
You need a break, but khalas, you're there, you have to do it.
And was there a memorable or particular moment in your career, in your voiceover career, that things started to really shift positively? So let's say, for example, you were at a certain level in terms of regular jobs coming in, the types of projects that you were getting. And then all of a sudden, was there a moment or a particular recording session that you noticed everything started to change and you started getting more bookings, more clients, more like variety in the ads?
Yeah, that's, I think that happened for Vodafone. That was the like the mobile service provider in Egypt. During the launch, yes, there was like an ad where a lot of people were participating in. And then there was that script that was specifically made for me, speaking about a service, a specific service that they wanted to promote.
Okay.
Since that one, I've realized that things started growing.
Nice.
So yeah, that had the major impact actually.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what kind of session was it? Was it also a TV commercial, or was it more of a corporate script, or?
It was both, going both TV and radio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Big campaign.
Yeah, it was a very big campaign at that time.
And after that, when did you move to Dubai and continued your voiceover career?
I moved to Dubai back in 2004, and I worked with Promo 7, if I may say the name.
Of course.
And I don't remember who started putting me into the voiceover. I think the start was with a Coca-Cola ad. Actually, they were my client. And they knew me from Egypt because they were all Egyptians, and they all knew that I was doing voiceover sessions. So they asked if I can do it. I said, I don't mind, but I don't know if it will work within the, like the company doesn't have any,
Policies
specific policies or regulations. So everything went well, and I went to do the ad. And then I went to do the Coke Studio. If you remember the campaign for like announcing the, it was like the Star Academy.
Ah, okay.
It was called Coke Studio.
Okay, okay.
So, and then I started doing that as well. And then the production team within Promo 7, they started giving my voice samples to different clients. And then
Wow.
it went through different studios, and here it started in Dubai.
That's amazing. Would you say that Coca-Cola was another pivotal session for you once you came to Dubai?
Yes,
Okay.
that was the start.
So from 2004 till now, you've been recording for so many different clients, so many different sessions. Was there one session in particular that you really enjoyed?
Honestly, I enjoy all the sessions. Because I love what I'm doing. I love recording and doing the voices. To have a specific session, yes, there was one for Twix. I don't know if you remember the ad. It was about those two brothers. Both of them had chocolate factories. One of them was adding more chocolate. The other one was adding more caramel. And, you remember?
Nice.
So it was a very nice story. And even the way or the delivery that was required was very smooth. It was like as if I'm telling a story. So I mainly love these kinds of recordings. I don't like to go in and people tell me, okay, shout, give me a higher tone. I'm like, why? It's not a war eventually. You have a message. You need to deliver the message. I shouldn't be shouting and running and, catching my breath. So that was one of the really ones that I enjoyed.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We both seen a major shift in our industry. You remember like 2015 up to 2020, we were going to studios physically to record sessions.
True.
And at the studios, you'd get clients, you'd get agencies, you'd get copywriters, the sound engineer, the producer. And nowadays, like after COVID, there's been this huge shift in the industry where more and more clients are looking forward to having their live directed sessions online on Zoom, Google Meet, Session Link. How have you adapted with these big changes?
Yeah, that's a good question because I faced some issues with that. It's not because of COVID or Corona that this happened. It was there, but maybe it became more frequent after the pandemic. I was not even convinced, and I don't believe in recording from home. It should be done in a professional way. You will not get the equipment, you will not get the sound isolation, you will not get all the professional setup that you get in the studio, no matter what you do at home. So I started losing some jobs, or one of the clients, mainly, to be very precise, they kept telling me, why don't you do a studio at your home? And I was like, why should I? And then we were having a conversation one day, and I've made like a very small setup. It's not a professional setup, if I may say. And I'm sorry, if my neighbor starts drilling, I cannot do anything about it.
Yeah.
If his kids are running, you can hear the footsteps coming.
Okay.
So I cannot do anything about that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like for quick recordings, it works. So we were speaking, and I told him, okay, I have this small setup that now I can record at home. And he was like, why didn't you tell me? We were not sending you scripts because we know that you were not able to record from home.
Wow, okay.
And since he knew that I have this facility, they started throwing scripts on me.
Wow, good, good.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like it was just a matter of communicating that you have the facility at home to be able to record.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all I needed to do at that time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's become a matter of convenience as well for people, you know? Like before, you'd go to a certain recording studio and you'd have to think about travel time,
Yes.
parking,
Exactly.
waiting for the lifts in certain buildings, you know, where you have to wait like
True.
15 minutes for elevators.
There are queues in some buildings that you
Yeah.
have to wait. Yeah.
Are we talking about Shatta Tower?
Shatta Tower and the Damak Tower. And
The Mac Executive Heights, yes. Yeah. So I think it's become more of a thing of convenience, wouldn't you agree?
It's definitely, yeah, for convenience, but it's not like being in the studio. Yani, the client has to be in the studio. The copywriter has to be in the studio. Yani, the convenience that they have, or the time that they think that they have saved, they will waste on corrections if needed. No, this is not the delivery. And then you have to wait for someone to connect on the Zoom call. And then this guy has something to do, so I'll excuse myself and come. Can we listen again? Can we repeat? So you didn't save anything. If you have moved and drove the way to the studio, things would have moved very efficiently, smoother, and even faster. So it's always better to have the full team in the studio.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
that's my opinion. And I believe that this is the right way of doing it. And sometimes if the client tells you, okay, can I listen to the take? How can you get the quality on a phone?
Yeah.
And if you are online in a different country, so there is a delay in the playback. So sometimes I don't know, myself, I cannot listen to anything from a phone, or it has to be from the speakers in the studio.
Sure.
And everything. You get to listen to the pure and neat sound, if I say. The quality is totally different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to go back a little bit to your beginnings in Egypt. Were there any mentors that really influenced your decision to become a professional voiceover actor?
There were many, actually. And if we're talking about in general, it was Tarek Nour.
Okay.
He's the one. I always loved listening to his ads. He has such a distinguished voice, let's say. Some clients were asking for him in name. They say, no, we want him to do the ad. But in terms of the tone of voice, there were two that I was always trying to imitate their way of delivery. So, can I say their names?
Yep, absolutely, absolutely.
So one of them, he passed away a long time ago. His name was Muhammad Shakir. And the other one, his name is Assam Saif. He's still alive and kicking. God bless him.
Yeah.
So these two, we have like very close voice tone. So I always looked up to them as well and loved to hear their voice, especially when it comes to documentaries, serious kind of ads. For the fun, entertaining kind of advertisements, that's a different story. Just love listening to it.
Nice, nice. So each of these mentors or important figures had a specific delivery they were known for?
Yes, yes. Isam and Muhammad Shakir were mostly for the serious campaign, like the anti-drug campaign, orphanage, you know, this kind of messages. Tarek for like the witty kind of ads, the ads that had humor. So they were totally different. But you love each one the way he's doing it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. My next question is a bit of a hypothetical question. I ask all my guests that question because it's very interesting for me and to see how unique everybody's answers are.
Okay.
And I believe that really provides value to our listeners as well. I like to call this question the three truths.
Okay.
So let's say someone came up to you, someone who's really passionate and interested in joining the voiceover industry and really believes that they have what it takes to become a professional voiceover actor. And they come to you, Ashraf, based on your experience, based on all the recording sessions you've done, all the clients you've recorded for, what are three truths about the industry that you know to be absolutely true?
That's a very difficult question, if I may say. True, like, okay, first, no matter how experienced you are, you should read whatever you are recording very carefully. Don't think that, okay, yeah, this is a quick thing, I'll do it right away, because there are certain points that you need to stress on. Mm-hmm. You have to highlight to yourself, this is the message. Mm-hmm. This is where I need to change my voice a bit. This is where it needs to go high. Mm-hmm. This is where I need to be emotional. Mm-hmm. Even sometimes I get into debate with clients during the recording. Mm-hmm. No, this is not how we want it. Okay, but this is how it should be. Mm. So if I may, I always tell them, I will give you the take that you want, mm-hmm. but leave me to do it the way I feel. Mm-hmm. Like most of the times, they go with the one I do without their guidance, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. because they think, yeah, okay, we think this is the right thing. Mm-hmm. So eventually, you will have to do what the client wants, mm-hmm. because it's his product, it's his brand. Mm-hmm. He knows where he wants to take it, so give him what he wants. Mm-hmm. I don't know, I can't.
So far we have study the script.
Yes, exactly.
And second, make sure you give the client what they want, what they expect, and give a bit more.
Exactly. Put your, you have to have an added value. Mm-hmm. Because it's if they chose you, mm-hmm. okay, you will do what they want, but you have to put a touch there that it's your signature.
Sure.
On the script.
Sure.
And always be on time for the recording. Mm-hmm. And practice. Mm-hmm. Never stop, even if you are at the top. Mm-hmm. You always have to keep practicing because sometimes you lose it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
What is it that you studied for your career? And how did you find yourself doing voiceovers after? Did it make sense with each other, or
absolutely.
Were you like me? You started studying engineering, and then all of a sudden you're doing audio work.
No, like you. But I did not study engineering. My main study was tourism and hotel management.
Wow.
And I worked in the tourism industry for, let's say, after graduation for around 2 years, where I felt that it's not that stable, from any political, scene that takes place or any incident that happens. So the first thing that gets affected is tourism. Mm-hmm. So I thought, okay, I need to move on to a more stable career. Mm-hmm. And there I was always having Tarek Nour, because I've always seen, as I told you, was waiting to watch his TV adverts. Mm-hmm. The car transporting the employees were just seen all over. Mm-hmm. So it was like, all around me.
Mm-hmm. Signs were calling you.
When you try to play mind game on someone and you keep showing him and telling him things, and then the first thing he thinks about is whatever you were trying to influence. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, I had a friend of mine who was working there, actually a friend of a friend. Mm-hmm. And that friend was my neighbor. Mm-hmm. And I was one day going down and they were both talking together. Mm-hmm. I went to say hi and he introduced me. This is, and he's working in Tarek Nour advertising. I said, wow. I told him, do you need someone? He said, do you want to apply? Yes. He said, okay, send me your CV and we'll see. I sent him the CV the second day, 2 days later, I was called in for an interview. The following day, I got the acceptance, and I started. It all came by pure coincidence. And I was looking forward, but I didn't know how to go or how to apply. And there came this guy.
Wow. It was meant to be.
Yeah, it was just meant to be. I always say, if it's meant for you, it will come in any way.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when you were saying that you kept seeing signs around you, like the cars that drove these people to that company, or Tarek Nour ads, these different signs that appear. I don't know about you, but to me, I don't believe they're coincidences. You know, I believe that we're put on this earth to do something in particular.
True.
You know, each one of us has a destiny, or whatever you want to call it.
It was God's plan achieved.
Wow.
That's what I can say.
Awesome. Was there one session in particular where it was a very challenging one? It could be a challenging client, or too many cooks in the recording session, or the session itself, whatever you needed to record, was challenging. Do you remember any instance of that happening?
Yes, actually, it was maybe 6 months ago. I was doing that. I will not say the name, just to, so that I don't get anyone offended.
Yeah.
They wanted the, I wouldn't say the crescendo, like the build-up of the delivery to be in a specific way.
Okay.
But the way that the script was written, you can't. It just breaks the flow. As if, you are speeding on a highway and all of a sudden you find a bump. So you have to slow down. But no, they don't want this.
Okay.
They want to keep it
continuing,
building up. So I told them, guys, it cannot happen. You are repeating the brand name in places where it shouldn't be. So, and this one needs a special way of stressing on it. You're having the flow of your script going in a direction, and all of a sudden I have to mention your brand name. Why? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's always challenging. And adding to that, there is a specific time or duration that you have to abide with, which makes things really difficult. Adding to it, this part, when you're saying this word, you have to sound like a teenager. My goodness. How can I do all this in one script?
And one more thing, you need to juggle while recording.
Yeah, exactly. So you have a time, you have a specific way of delivery, you have to build up and stop, and no, continue building up, and the teenager thing.
And sound like a teenager on these keywords over here.
Yeah, which is, no way. One more thing, I had it. There was a dubbing session. And that session, it was like an interview for Messi, the football player.
Okay.
And I got the very weirdest comment I could ever get. When you dub, can you make your voice close to his? Why? Bring him in, and I don't know. If you want him, let him come and do the dubbing. How can I? And I don't know if you've ever heard Messi talking or speaking.
Very fast, right?
Very fast, and he has a very thin tone. So I can never do it. Even the hardest I try, no way I can reach to it.
Yeah.
And then if he laughs, I need to laugh. Why? Everybody knows it's a dubbing.
Yeah.
So why do I have to do exactly like him? I'm not him.
Everybody knows he doesn't speak Arabic.
Yeah, so exactly. So it's all known. It's a dubbing session. I don't have to be like a copy. So yeah, these are the kind of challenges.
Nice.
And some of them, one of the recordings as well, there was a hit one time of an ad that was done by the famous Egyptian actor, Omar al-Sharif. He's international as well. So this ad, every single person on earth loved the ad. And then when I was going in on sessions, they were, you know how Omar Sharif did this ad? We want you to do the same. So I had no choice but telling him, I have a better option for you. Call him, get him in the studio, and let him do your script. If you want something exactly like what he did, bring him.
Yeah.
Why am I asked to imitate and do my best to be like someone else? What to do?
Yeah, that's very challenging, especially like given the fact that each one's voice is very unique. And on top of the voice and the frequency, there's also the intonations, there's also the speed, where you pause, and on which words you emphasize. And the possibilities are endless, you know, when it comes to voice. So to ask someone to imitate someone else, it's quite challenging.
It is.
You always see a small difference.
Yeah. It's always going to be there, the difference, and you will never reach to the same way that he's doing it. Yeah, not even close, but I don't know. You try, and eventually there are people who will approve. Khalas, you just do your best.
Ashraf, you've recorded for some of the biggest brands across the globe and in the UAE, and we're talking brands like Coca-Cola, Nivea, Head and Shoulders, Vodafone that you mentioned, Etisalat, Do, Mashreq Bank, just to name a few, or else we'll be here for like 3 hours naming them. Is there a project that you still remember the script? And if so, can you please enunciate it for us?
Oh my goodness. Remember the script. So it was by, God rest his soul in peace, Mohammed Shakir, anti-drug, and it was sponsored by CIB, the Commercial Bank of Egypt, Commercial International Bank. And it went like, قل للمخدرات من البداية قبل أن تأخذك إلى النهاية.
Wow.
That's
Awesome.
the punchline.
Awesome. And in English, that's basically say no to drugs from the beginning before they take you to the end.
To the end, before it reaches you or takes you to the end.
Wow, that's reaches the fields, right? Awesome. Ashraf, you're the owner of a design company and a professional voiceover actor.
Yeah.
How do you manage your time effectively to make sure that you're being as productive in the different areas of your life?
Yeah. That's a very good question, Joe. Because as you know, most of the time we have a recording session and it's like within 1 hour. Or sometimes, it's not always happening, but like most of the time, you get a request asking you if you are available, let's say tomorrow at 11 for a recording. At that specific time, maybe yes, I am free. But then all of a sudden, you get a request from your client for an urgent meeting that needs to be done, and coincidentally, it happens at the same time that you have said that you're free for the session. So this puts you in a situation where, okay, this is the client that I have, I'm working with all my life, and this is a session that came and...
it might not be confirmed.
It might not be confirmed, so what to do? So it becomes very critical. But thank God, most of the time, I make sure that I don't take any meetings during the evening time. And I try as much as I can. Whenever I have a session, I try to schedule it during evening time or the second half of the day. So I make the first half of the day for any meetings, for any emergencies. And definitely emergencies happen even during the second half, sometimes, but not normally. So this is where you have to just be careful. One time I had a recording session before a meeting, and this is when I decided I'm not going to do this again.
Okay.
The session was late, and I was getting stressed because I'm going to be late on the meeting, and that was like a big presentation that I had, and some important people are attending. It's not like just the client that I'm used to, the day-to-day calls and things with him. No, there is a CEO, there is I don't know who's manager, and all these people, big guys are coming in. So I became stressed out. And then I had to let everyone down in the studio. I told them, guys, I'm so sorry. I will not be able to do it. I'm not in the mind state of focusing on the script. God knows how long it will take. I don't know if the client will approve it from the first time, or we will need to ask or correct, or maybe they will ask me to do some copywriting while I'm. It's difficult.
And what happened with that session? Was it rescheduled for another time?
It was rescheduled because they wanted me in specific.
Good.
So the thing that helped at that time is that the session before me was late. So that was like a bit of an excuse for me to go.
I see.
I told them, okay, sorry, I have another one. And even the studio was very understanding. The team was very supportive as well. They were very apologetic. And I told them, I'm in the field, I know. I know that things like this happen.
Of course.
But my problem is I have a meeting, that's it. If I didn't have anything, I'm with you. My phone is with me, my laptop is with me. If there is anything, I can just log in and finish anything that comes in.
Sure, makes sense.
Yeah. It's challenging, but if you organize yourself properly, it will work fine.
Ashraf, I really want to thank you for being here.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks to you.
I want to acknowledge as well all the work you've done in the industry. You're definitely like one of my favorite voiceover actors, and
Thank
definitely
you so much.
one of the voices of Dubai. Undeniable.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you again for sharing your knowledge, sharing your experience, your stories. And I'm looking forward to continue working together on various sessions.
Same here, Joe. Thank you for having me, and thank you for bringing me in this amazing place.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
And looking forward definitely to see you again.